1 hour for the class. That's your table presentation. Then it's 1 hour of the private consultations where they're eating and chit-chatting and playing and having fun, and you're rotating out the private consultations. And then they think it was so fast and fun and laid back, and they actually had a good time rather than being forced to the table for 2 hours where you told them they couldn't eat anything and they couldn't go to the bathroom and they were in a hurry. And so you don't want to do that, okay? You want it to be fun. 1 hour table, 1 hour private consultation. How do you get it tight like that? You prepare and you practice. You become the master. You care enough to prepare. 2 rules during the class. These are 2 presentation rules, if you want to write this down. 2 presentation rules during the class itself, during your 1 hour table presentation. You're going to mention 2 things at least 7 times during the appointment. First thing you're going to mention 7 times is the private consultation. Second thing you're going to mention at least 7 times is the follow-up appointment, the follow-up session. Both of them at least 7 times. It's just one of those laws of psychology that after they hear it 7 times, they assume it's part of the plan. It just becomes reality to them. They expect it. It's part of the flow. It's no-brainer. It's wired into their expectation for what's going to happen during the appointment. How many of you have ever, and you can tell me if you can relate to this, even on the other side of the screen, if you've held a couple of classes before, if you've ever held the appointment, you've not mentioned the private consultation at the end, anywhere through the appointment. And then all of a sudden you wrap up the class and you say, now I'm going to have a private consultation. Who would like to come with me first? And they sit there like deer in the headlights, looking at you like you've got 2 heads, because where are you going to take me, you creepy lady? Right? They don't understand it. They don't get it. Where are you taking me? And then it's like, oh, this is where she's going to secretly take all my money and ask me all the awkward questions. Nobody wants to be that guy, okay? And they certainly don't want to be suckered into what's ever going to happen around the creepy corner. So you have to establish this expectation 7 times throughout the appointment, and you romance it. You make it fun. You establish what's happening 7 times. Oh my gosh, that color looks great. You know what? At the private consultation, remind me to mention another color that I think you'll really enjoy. Okay, oh, you know what? Yeah, you know, you're right. I really do like that medium coverage foundation on you. You may really like the mineral makeup, the mineral powder foundation. Remind me, and we'll talk about that at the private consultation. And you just say little things like that over and over again. You know what? We're going to all try the combo to oily cleanser today. We're going to try the normal to dry moisturizer today, and that way you can kind of get a feel of the 2 different ones. And then at the end, you can tell me which one you prefer, and I'll make sure and we tweak that at your follow-up facial. I mean, I threw that out there. I've never done that before. I've never done everybody gets combo, everybody gets normal to dry. But what I'm saying is whatever you're doing, tell them we're going to try it today, then let me know if you don't like it or if we want to tweak anything in the private consultation. I can make sure and adjust it for your follow-up facial. So you see how you're just ingraining it in there, and then they're going to expect the private consultation and the follow-up session. They understand it's an ongoing relationship. Everybody with me on that? Okay. You absolutely, positively must hold the private consultations. Seriously, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't. You are doing all the hard work, planting the seeds, working the crop, and just when everything is in full bloom, you are packing up and going home without reaping the harvest. You do not hold the private consultation. That's where everything happens. That's where you get the sales, the bookings, the interviews, all come from the private consultation. It will never and ever, 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 you can take this to the bank, double dog dare you, prove me wrong on this. You will never have as high of results just saying, let me know if you need anything, and leaving them all sitting at the table, or going one by one where they're all staring at you and staring at the other people around the table. Groupthink mentality never works in this situation, okay? So you must have the private consultation. At MAP, I will give you the words to say of how to move them and transition from the table close into the private consultation. Now, you can read the words. You can see exactly how I say that on my skincare class script. It's already on my website, so you can grab that and see that right away, okay? But you have a specific goal going into every appointment, and you capitalize on these goals. You realize these goals in the private consultation. It's 3 goals. How many sets can I sell? How many future appointments can I book? And how many business interviews can I schedule? Those 3 things. How many, how many, how many? How many sets? How many bookings? How many interviews? Minimum of 2 is what you want to tell yourself. Your bare bones minimum is 2, but don't say 2 because then when you get to 2, you'll stop. Okay? So how many can I get? But just know that it's a minimum of 2 that you want to pull from every appointment. Okay? The complete private consultation script is on my website. I'll walk you through all of that. You'll actually practice it with each other. You'll hear me do it and practice it on one another at the MAP workshop. But until then, you can at least see what the words are. Then here's the icing on the cake of your skincare class. Once everyone is gone, once all the guests are gone from the show, have the hostess count your money. Okay? It sounds crazy, but listen. Have the hostess count the money. And the way that you do this, I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and count up the money real fast, and then I'll pack up everything, and then I'll get out of here. I'll get out of your hair. We'll finish up the night. Okay? So this does 2 things. First of all, it helps you go faster. And number 2, she sees how much money you just made off of all her friends who she thought were broke and not going to buy anything. And guess what? You may be upset that you only had a $200-300 class. See, if I go into a class and I sell less than $600, I'm like, that was annoying. Okay? But we forget how spoiled we are, right? Remember, master your skills. Okay? Master your skills. We forget how spoiled we are, how much money we make in Mary Kay. We forget that we can go into somebody's house and in 2 hours come out with several hundred, if not $1,000 in sales. So you may think $200 is a low class. She's never seen $200 in 2 hours in her life. So we have to understand that it's a whole different world that we're exposing her to by just incorporating this into part of the design of your appointment. And then get out fast. Don't linger. Don't hang out. Don't chill out. Don't chit-chat. Don't sit around and have a snack. Get out fast. Okay? Now, this is a little bit of backward psychology than what some of us think, because we think I'm going to stay and bond and interview her and get to know her and talk her into this. No, don't do it that way. Trust me on this. Okay? Because whatever she sees is the way she thinks it works. If you got to her class an hour before it started and you don't leave until 6 hours later, she thinks it took 6 hours to hold an appointment, right? So we want to help set up the positive expectation of what's going on here, okay? You want her to think it does not take forever to do your job. And then here's a big tip. Pack for the next class immediately when you get home from this one. The last thing you want to do is pack for the next class. But if you will trust me on this one, you will be so grateful the time the next appointment comes around. Because guess what? All of those things that you want to tweak and change, the things that you ran out of, the things you want to restock or add, it's all fresh in your memory right then. And you're not in a hurry. You're not stressed out when you get home. So you can take your time and get it done right and not freak out and stress out, rushing to get it done before the next one, and then it's this perpetual cycle of, oh, I forgot something, oh, it's not perfect, oh. Okay? So we can fix all that by caring enough to prepare and by preparing ahead of time. And y'all, there is immense freedom in that one little shift in the way you approach your class schedule. Okay? And then the last and final step on your behind-the-scenes skincare class details is immediately tally your totals and call your director with your results.